Welcome back to episode number 50 of the Grind, Sleep, Repeat podcast.
That's right. We made it 50 episodes. Today's a special one. We're going through our top 10 fitness tips. This is kind of all encompassing. We'll talk about nutrition. We'll talk about workouts. We'll talk about recovery. We'll talk about, if we had to give 10 of our best tips, this is it today. We're going to go through each of them and go one by one and kind of answer a lot of questions that you might have about everything about fitness, lifting, cardio, nutrition, recovery, and everything in between.
Yeah, so tune in, grab your favorite drink, and buckle up because it's going to be a good one.
Let's hop into the first one. So the first one that we came up with is really about, directionality of your program. And the first thing you need to do, no matter what your goal is you need to create a clear and concise goal. And I think that there are so many people that just go through the motions and they're going to the gym, and that's great. They're eating healthy, that's great. But they don't have a goal set forth. And you have to have something that you're working towards so that you can set the bar. And then once you reach that bar, you set the next goal and you set the next goal. Because the last thing that we'd want to do is spend 10 years in the gym, but have zero improvement. We don't change it all. Yes, that's going to be good for your health, but we want to make sure that we're setting clear and concise goals and really come up with those so we have something to work for each and every workout.
Yeah, when we're saying clear and realistic goals, we want you guys to think about, okay, yes, maybe I have this long-term goal of stepping on stage, but realistically, at how close to that am I? So if that is your long-term goal, make little goals along the way to get to that big goal. Because if you just, say, I want to step on stage and that's your goal and you start doing everything to get there, it can get frustrating. And that's where we see a lot of people say, this is too hard. I can't do this. It's too frustrating. I can't commit to all this. So if you can just set yourself up and say, hey, currently I'm not even working out. I at least want to get myself in the gym at least 2 days a week. Or, I want to start by tracking my protein and see what that looks like and see how much protein I'm even getting right now. So just these little tiny baby steps to get to that big goal.
Yeah, setting a goal just gives you direction. It gives you purpose. And you can always change your goal. I think that's why I love training hybrid, mixing strength training and running together, or strength training and cardio, is because, right now my goal is I'm working on building strength and building muscle and trying to gain weight. I have some goals of running some more races this upcoming year. So like the spring and into the fall, running half marathon or two. Eventually I would love to run a marathon. That's a completely separate goal in a different time in life maybe, but you can always change your goals. And like I said, it just gives you something to work for. So That's going to lead us right to our second point, which is after you've created the goal, our second tip is you have to create a plan. That's what we are all about. We create structure for people here. We're gym owners and trainers, and without structure, it's just chaos. It's just randomness. So you've locked in on your goal. Now let's come up with a plan that is going to optimize that goal. And it can look so different for so many people. And I think people are so quick to say that this is the perfect plan, no matter who you are. And I think that's really naive to say that there's one specific plan that meets everybody's needs. If there's anything that I've learned in the last decade of being in the gym and being a trainer, is that there's no one-size-fits-all program. So customization and creating that structure is going to help you see the best results in the shortest amount of time possible. And creating a program around that is really the way to go.
Yeah, creating your plan and making sure that you schedule that into your lifestyle. And like you said, not everybody's plan is going to look the same. So just because somebody on Instagram is working out 7 days a week and she has no children and can prep her food, has more flexibility, works from home, doesn't mean that that lifestyle fits for you. So make sure you're realistic and find something that you can do and stick with, whether that plan be, maybe it's just 30 minutes a day, maybe it's putting that workout in your phone and scheduling it like an appointment. Because if you're anything like me, I'm not going to miss the appointment.
Yeah.
I'm going to show up for my appointment. So put that in, mark it down, make it a commitment, and you're more likely to stick with that.
Yeah, I think back to when I was in college, early 20s. My program looks very different now than it did then because my life has changed drastically since then.
You're welcome.
Have no, it's great, no
Just kidding.
complaints, but just being realistic, saying, like, I don't have like, when I was in college, I used to go to the gym. I used to love like, I'm a natural night owl. I used to love going to the gym at, like, 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock at the latest, but, like, 9:30, and I would work out for, like, 2 hours. I would literally leave at midnight, and
Yeah.
I just loved it. Like, working out for 2.5 hours nowadays, like, there's no way. There's no way that I could fit that into my schedule. Some days being a gym owner, you get an hour to work out, to eat, and compose yourself before your next appointment, your next phone call, or your next training session. So, you know, I think you have to take a look at your life, take a look at where you're at, take a look at your goals. Yes, you're going to have to make sacrifices, and no, it's not going to be easy, but create some structure and create a program that you can sustain. Because if you're doing something where you're working out twice a day and you barely have an hour to work out in the first place, it's not
Yeah.
going to be sustainable, and you're not going to see progress long term.
Yeah, for sure. I think something that has helped us too with being gym owners and having kids is incorporating them, and we've talked about this numerous times, but bringing them in the gym and showing them different healthy ways to eat, and that just teaches them a healthy way of life, and hopefully that will carry on to them too. So, there's benefit to doing that as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you get incorporating the kids is huge for us to be able to have some sanity, and like, we can bring them to the gym even on like days off. Like, we'll take Sundays off and
Yeah.
bring them to the gym for the morning workout, and we don't have to find a babysitter. We don't have to go one at a time. I love incorporating our kids into our business, and then also into just a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, so if you have kids, there is ways to yeah, not everybody has a gym, but, if you have dumbbells or something at home, just let them work out with you. Let them discover, new movements and new ways to move their body too, and they will find enjoyment out of that too, and then that creates a healthy lifestyle for them as well. So, let's go into our next point, which is going to be eating to fuel your body, not to restrict your body.
Yeah, we're going to kind of talk about nutrition in the next couple. We're kind of grouped into like, these next couple are really nutrition tips. We got some workout tips. We got some recovery tips coming up later. But, I think it's taken us a long time to realize that food is fuel. We personally have made this mistake, and I know a lot of other people do, is you're trying to like really work on body composition. And a lot of times the first place you go is like, I'm going to pull back calories. I'm going to do more exercises. I'm going to do more workouts. I'm going to move more. And what happens with that is you just deprive your body of food and energy, and you have no energy to get through your workouts and give good effort, but then also just get through your day-to-day life. So looking at food as fuel is a completely different way to approach nutrition. And you can still look at food as fuel and lose body fat, or you can still look at food as fuel and build muscle. But when you change that mindset of like, food is bad, this food is bad, this food is good, and putting labels on things, I think it opens up a lot of peace in your day-to-day life, and it allows you to still incorporate things that you enjoy. You know, 80-90% of the time, still eating whole foods, good foods that are going to fuel your body, good protein sources, good carbohydrate sources, good fat sources, but allowing yourself to realize that, like, at the end of the day, you can still eat the things that you enjoy and still see progress in the gym. And just because you went out to ice cream with your family on a Saturday night, it doesn't mean that that wrecks your fitness. You just have to realize that you hop right back on the wagon the next day, and it's just part of life, enjoying those things.
Yeah, this is something I still struggle with. So, just trying to learn balance and create balance is definitely something that you don't want to, you know, forget that you it's okay, like you said, eating ice cream, going out with the kids because we only have one life. They're only little for so long. So we don't want to miss out on those opportunities, but also knowing that, okay, if I'm going to eat these things, you know, we want to do that in moderation
Yes.
because that's the key to balance. If we're giving ourselves excuses every night, like, oh, the kids are having this and, we're doing this and it happens to be every night, then that's where it leads to a problem because that food is not fueling your body for your workouts. And you're going to feel that. Like
Mhm.
when I eat something, that I wouldn't typically eat, like a donut or a cookie, something like that, I do feel the difference in my workouts. Now, if I'm going to eat to fuel my body. So if I load up on more rice or more sweet potatoes, I feel that in a good way in my workouts. So not to label food as like good or bad, but just knowing like, okay, I want to balance this out. I do want to, have a piece of cake if I go to my niece or nephew's birthday party and enjoy that moment with them, but don't turn those moments into something that you make an excuse for yourself every single night when you start rummaging through the pantry and finding all the good stuff, which guilty of that. But
Yeah.
just know that there is a balance and it's okay, but also, you're going to feel that the next day and be aware of that and how that makes you feel during your workouts.
Yeah, it's not an excuse to eat whatever you want.
No.
Most of the time, your food should be whole food sources. You got a lean protein, you got a good quality carbohydrate, and you got a fat source. Most of the bulk of your diet should be structured around that. That's going to kind of lead us right to our next point, which is talking all about protein. No matter what your goal is, you got to have enough protein in your diet.
Yeah.
Good rule of thumb, good recommendation that we give, anywhere from 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. If you're strength training, I would recommend that you get as close as you can to that 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, or ideal body weight if you're trying to lose a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to help your recovery. It's going to help you repair those working muscles. It's going to reduce your soreness. It's going to help you hold on to muscle. So if you go into a diet and you're drastically under eating your protein, you're going to feel fatigued and sore all the time. You're not going to recover. And you're going to potentially run into losing muscle mass. And that's going to lead to 50 different problems that we could talk about on a whole entire podcast. But bare minimum, eating enough protein in your diet is going to help you recover, repair, and hold on to muscle mass. And if you're trying to build muscle, it's also going to help you build muscle. If you're inadequately eating protein in your diet and you're trying to build muscle mass, it's just not going to happen. You're not going to recover. You're not going to have enough protein to build new muscle tissue because it doesn't come from nowhere. You have to have the stimulus in the gym and the protein in the diet to build new lean muscle tissue.
Yeah, eating that 1 gram per body weight of protein, for instance, just to give you an example, if you weigh, 130 pounds and you divide that into the amount of meals that you eat per day. So let's say 130 divided by 5, and that will give you the amount of meals or the amount of protein in grams that you need to be eating per meal. So the biggest thing is just keeping in mind that at each meal, I need to be incorporating a protein source to hit my goal of 130 grams. So 130 grams, divide that into 5 meals is 25 roughly grams of protein per meal. So if you're, being conscious of saying, okay, each meal I'm having that 25 grams, then you're by the end of the day, you're going to hit that 130 grams. And that continues to carry on whether you're in a cut, a bulk, or just trying to maintain and create a healthier lifestyle. Because eating that protein, fat, and carb throughout the day, balancing out those meals is going to also keep those blood sugar levels elevated and prevent them from dropping. Because when they drop, that's when we get those cravings. That's when, if I haven't eaten a solid meal in like 4 hours, that's when I'm like, ooh, yeah, what's sounding really good right now is, ice cream or chocolate. All those like yummy foods start sounding really good when you're not getting in that adequate amount of balanced meals, especially every 4 hours or so.
Yeah, usually with our clients, we'll recommend eating 4 to 5 times a day, typically at least 5, 3 meals and 2 snacks, having a solid protein source at each meal. And then our snacks will recommend using 1 to 2 scoops of our FitGrind whey protein powder. So if you guys are looking for an awesome protein powder and you're looking to add that as an extension of your diets, definitely go give our FitGrind whey protein a shot. I'll leave the link in the comments in the description below. You can head over to fitgrindformula.com and we'll give you a 15% off discount code too as well. So use grind15. You can get 15% off your first order and use that protein powder as an extension of your diet to fill in the cracks. Add it as a snack, add it as a post-workout, or maybe you want to do a protein shake somewhere before bed to get you to the amount of protein that you need to eat each day.
Hopping into our next tip, number 5, is going to be getting enough hydration and recovery. So when we're doing this, we are hydrating with not only water, but also an electrolyte. This is going to help replenish those minerals that we're losing when we're working out. And not only is it benefiting in that aspect, but it's also something that tastes good. And you can sip on it, put it in a big, 40-ounce jug and sip on it throughout the day, or you can sip on it throughout your workouts, whichever. It's going to benefit you in all different kinds of ways. But hydration, recovery, and the recovery aspect, we are making sure we're getting enough sleep, making sure we're stretching, getting in mobility into our routine too, so that we're not going into the next day and feeling fatigued.
Yeah, I think, we can kill ourselves in the gym, but you're not building muscle during the workout. It's that 24 to 72 hours where you're going to build the muscle. So we go into the gym, we crush our workout, and we break down muscle tissue. And then the clock starts on recovery. And eating enough protein, like we talked about, that's one thing that you can do. Rehydrating. So like Alyssa mentioned, using an electrolyte powder. We have a Pink Starburst electrolyte powder if you'd like to try that out. Again, links in the description, the comments below. And that's going to help you replenish what you lose, not only through your sweat. I think a lot of times people think Gatorades and electrolytes are to replenish your sweat. Yes, you lose a lot of electrolytes through sweat, but every time you have a muscle contraction, you also lose electrolytes because it takes electrolytes to provide that muscle contraction. So even if you're not a super sweaty person after your workout, you still need to replenish what you lost, your potassium, your magnesium, and your sodium. And then, like Alyssa mentioned too, like sleep is huge. If you're undersleeping, even just going from 6 hours a night to 7 hours a night is going to be huge for your recovery, because it's all about, I think people talk about overtraining. I do believe there is such thing as overtraining, but I do think a lot of people are walking around under recovered, and they can handle more training volume or they can handle harder workouts, but they're just not properly recovering. So taking care of your recovery is really beneficial to your long-term success. We also are doing some ice baths. Definitely helps with, there's a lot of health benefits with ice baths that are going to, increase brown fats, improve cognition, reduce stress and anxiety, increase lymphatic drainage. Like there's a lot of good stuff that can happen from ice baths, but also can help reduce your fatigue, reduce your soreness, and is something that we're using that, is helping with recovery. And it's a long 3 minutes when we're doing it in that cold water, but I do really feel the difference, and I feel better after doing ice baths. That's up to you if you want to do an ice bath, not a requirement, but I'm going to throw it out there. It's a little tidbit that if you have more questions on ice baths, let me know. We'd be happy to help you out. I also recorded a full video on my channel, so you can go search for that if you're looking for more information on ice baths.
So going into our sixth tip, we are going to be talking about strength training. So lifting some heavy shit, throwing around the weights, making some noise, and also overloading the muscles. So when we're going into the gym, we're structuring that. We have a planned program. Our workouts are, strategically planned. In each week, you want to try to increase the weight. We're not going in and shoulder pressing 15 dumbbells every single time, 15-pound dumbbells every single time. You want to increase that, overload that muscle, whether it's from increasing the reps or putting more time under tension and creating more stimulus on the muscle, or increasing the weight. So be aware of that. If you're going in and you're just going through that same motions every week and you're like, why am I not seeing results? Chances are that you need to push yourself hard.
Yeah.
Harder.
Anybody can push harder. I think you have to take it upon yourself and almost gamify it and say, I did this last week, and even taking a step back. We keep detailed records of our workouts. I'm a pen and paper guy. Maybe you like some fitness app. That's perfectly fine, but use something to track your progress. Otherwise, if you come in for a workout, you've created this awesome plan, but you're like, man, I don't know how much weight I used on this exercise last week. I think it was this. It's going to be harder to track progression versus if you go back to your log and you're like, okay, I did bench press and I did this amount of weight. I did, just for example, 100 pounds for 8 reps. I'm going to try and get 10 today. And I get 10, then I'm going to go 105 pounds. Like, it's that little tiny progression that happens, and it sounds so tedious and monotonous, but progressive overload is the key to building and maintaining muscle mass. So if you're coming in the gym, it's not enough just to lift the same weights that you do every single time. Like Alyssa said, you have to say you're doing, she said 15-pound shoulder presses, grab the 17 and a halves, grab the 20s. Even if you can't do it right now, that's okay, because by doing it and say you only get like 5 or 6 reps, you've placed a stimulus on your muscle to make the improvements that you need to grow back stronger and bigger for next time. So we're really trying to chase progression, and you're going to do that by overload and then trying to reach muscle failure too. If somebody just starts in the gym, they're probably not going to reach muscle failure as much as if somebody's experienced. So strength training can look so different for everybody. And when we say lifting heavy, we mean heavy relative for you. But as you become more advanced in strength training, you do have to push closer to muscle failure to see continued progress, because your body's so good at just adapting to what it's done before. And if we just kind of come in and we're leaving 3, 4, 5 reps in the tank on every single exercise, you're not going to see the progress that you want. So we want to be close to muscle failure, at least by the last set that you're doing on an exercise. And probably you want to leave no more than 1 rep in the tank. That's right where we want to be. That's the sweet spot of getting close to muscle failure, keeping the form, but really challenging your muscle. And that's what's going to help you grow and build muscle and build strength.
And keep in mind too, you're gonna have good days, bad days.
Oh yeah.
There's times we come in here and we're like, okay, we've been sick, kids have been sick, just not getting enough sleep. You feel that, and you might have that one day where you're like, not much changed from last week. It's okay. I'm gonna make sure next week to prioritize my sleep. Just keep in mind that nobody's perfect. We're gonna have good days, bad days, but just being aware of that and writing that down, whether it's in your notebook or on your phone notes or an app, and pushing yourself each week to get better.
Yeah, because if you were able to go up 5 pounds each week on every exercise, you put over like 200 pounds. Yeah, you put over 200 pounds on your bench press in a year. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, you're gonna have some newbie gains in the beginning. That 5 pounds is gonna get fewer and far between, and like you might put on 5 pounds in a month, and it's like, yes, I hit 5 more pounds on my bench press. I've been working for 6 weeks to do that. That's the reality of working out, but that's what you have to focus on. Yeah, that's what you have to focus on, is that progression. Otherwise, you're never going to change and you're never going to get better. So,
yeah.
Talking about the strength training, let's talk about cardio next. So our 7th tip is cardio, cardio, cardio. Anyone can benefit from cardio.
Mm-hmm.
And, with cardio, we like to run, but we also like to do a lot of other forms of cardio. And I don't think that you have to run, or I don't think that you have to do the bike, or you have to do the rower. Find something that you genuinely enjoy. You're going to be more consistent with it. You're going to put a lot more effort into it, and it's going to just improve your overall health and well-being, while also helping you work towards your body composition goals. It's going to help you improve your VO2 max, your cardiovascular endurance. And there is going to be carryover to strength training, where if you have a better, more efficient cardiovascular system, you're going to be able to deliver blood to your working muscles. You're going to be able to recover better in between sets. And overall, you're just going to have better workouts because you're more efficient and your heart is just stronger and can deliver oxygen and blood to those working muscles.
Yeah. Also, I just want to mention, I think people too, when you tell them you need to start incorporating cardio, they're like, but I hate running. It's like, well, it doesn't have to be running. Or do you hate running because you feel like you're not good at it? If you're not good at it, it's something that you don't have to go full blast on. What I like about running is you can do so many different variations of running. You can do sprint intervals. You can walk, run, do some fartlek training. There's multiple ways to incorporate running that doesn't have to make you necessarily good at it, or, stimulate you so much that you feel like you've been drug around and run over by a tractor. I don't know. It it
Sure.
it doesn't need to be hard. It just needs to be progression. Same with, strength training. We're progressively overloading. With cardio, we're progressively making it more challenging. So whether it's each week I'm doing sprint intervals, I'm doing 5 sets, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Next week, I'm going to push a little harder and I'm going to do 6. Or the next week, I'm still going to do 6, but I'm going to try to push the intensity So with your cardio training, there does have to be some sort of progression, just like you're progressing with your strength training.
Yeah. So that's going to kind of lead us into our next tip of warming up before your workouts, no matter if it's a cardio workout or a strength training workout. And the whole basis of this is twofold. First, to reduce the risk of injury so you can come in, make progress, because if you get hurt, you can't come in, you can't make progress. And then two, it's also going to help increase your performance. So for every workout, strength training or conditioning, we go through a full metabolic and a dynamic warm-up. Metabolic warm-up meaning we're just getting our heart rate up. So if we're going to go for a run, maybe we do some light jogging. If we're going to do a strength training workout, we'll do a rower or a skier or a bike or a light jog, or we push the sled a couple times down and back and just get your heart rate up, get some blood flowing. And then after that, going into a full dynamic warm-up. Say you're going to hit the upper body specifically, you're going to get your core activated, you're going to get your shoulders nice and mobile. You're going to warm up the muscles specifically that you're trying to target. Or if you're doing a lower body workout, you're doing some ankle stretches, some hip stretches. You're getting your hips nice and loose for squats and lunges and deadlifts or whatever you're doing for the day. But the goal is to reduce the risk of injury and improve your performance, that you're actually going to be able to lift heavier weights, get more reps, train harder while reducing that overall risk of injury.
This is something we do not want to skimp on. We do not want to skip. It's not just I walk in the gym, I hop on the treadmill, warm up 5-10 minutes and jump into it. It's something that we take very seriously, and we try to teach our clients how important it is to get in a proper warm up, because if you come in and you tell me that you have this aching shoulder injury, we really need to make sure that before we hit any upper body or shoulder movements, that we're really focusing on waking up that shoulder and getting a good full range of motion in your shoulder so that we don't create any more long-term or worse injury or whatever is going on with that specific shoulder than what already is happening with the shoulder. So we don't want to make it worse. We want to try to fix that. If not fix it, at least warm it up and get it mobile before hopping into anything intense, because you're not going to be able to push any heavy weight if you're super stiff and can't hardly move your shoulder. So I take a lot of pride and passion in helping people with flexibility and mobility, and I think that just goes a long ways in your longevity too. You know, somebody who comes in here and can hardly get up off the ground, like, you know, it's these are things that we do on a day-to-day basis to try to help you create a healthier, longer life. And getting up and down off the ground is something that you need to be able to do to be functional, right?
Yeah, for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, step ups, those things, you know, shoulder movement, reaching up and grabbing things. There's so much there's so much functionality in training. And I think creating that warm up to fit each person can look so differently too.
Yeah. It's going to depend on your own personal mobility restrictions or imbalances. But yeah, go through full metabolic, full dynamic warm up. I promise you're going to feel a lot better for that workout, have better performance. If you guys have questions on specific warm-ups, and we can even create some content in the future around that, we'd love to help out. Just let us know in the comment section. So we got 2 tips left. Getting into our 9th tip is all about sleep and stress management. And sounds a little hypocritical, me talking about this. Typically, I'll get like 6 hours of sleep a night. That's kind of where I'm at right now. But I think that's the bare minimum of what you want to get. I think 6 to 8 hours really is the sweet spot, especially if you're training hard and trying to make progress. But it's going to help with your recovery. It's going to help you feel fresh. It's going to help you be able to mentally put an effort forward for your day and then also for your workouts. And I think if you're sleeping less than 6 hours a night, I think you really are missing out on a lot of recovery and really missing out on being able to push harder in your workouts, make more progress, and just give more overall effort.
There's so many things that can help with your sleep too. Like we've incorporated the sauna, something to create some relaxation to bring that stress, that cortisol level down too, I think is super important. So we're guilty of this, but like watching these shows at night, your brain is so stimulated that sometimes it's hard to fall asleep when you're super stimulated and you're thinking about something and you're watching a scary movie and you're like, oh my God, I can't sleep because I'm scared.
Yeah.
So sometimes we'll turn on like light humor and that helps. But so trying to move away from the screen, which is something that, like I said, we're terrible at that, but implementing sauna, doing a magnesium supplement, which is something I love. It helps me fall asleep, sleep like a baby. But you know, creating an environment that's cool. If, as much as I hate when Jordan turns the fan on, you want a cool environment because that's going to help you sleep better. You don't want to wake up sweating. So yeah, just creating a bedtime routine and a comfortable, cool environment to help you sleep at night is important. But yeah, getting that rest and recovery is going to help you in the gym and function better as a mom, as a human, you know, just overall function so much better.
Yeah, it's a huge piece to your fitness. I think a lot of people think about the workout and the nutrition, but the sleep and recovery is something I think a lot of light is being shed on it recently. You know,
I agree.
There's a lot of content and research on longevity and health and stress management, but it is a big piece to your overall fitness and your health long term. You know, if you're stressed out constantly and it's affecting a lot of different areas of your life, but you're just like completely trying to ignore it, that's not necessarily a good thing. And it's going to bleed into other aspects of your life too. So big piece of your health and your fitness is the recovery and the stress management so that you can continue this as a lifestyle long term, not just for 3 months, 6 months, for a year, but to adopt a healthy lifestyle moving forward for the rest of your life.
Yeah, finding something that's realistic for you that you can stick with long term, I think is the key here. And that kind of leads us into our last tip, which is going to be finding enjoyment in your workouts or just the changes that you're making in your new healthy lifestyle, new healthy journey.
Yeah, I think people are so quick to want the fast route. How do I lose weight the fastest way possible? I just had a consult with a woman yesterday. She was new in the gym and she wanted to know, when am I going to lose weight? When am I going to lose weight? And that's a common question that I get asked very often. And, you know, following structure and following a program, like you can see weight loss pretty rapidly. But I think the key really is learning to love the process of what you're doing, and you fall into this positive flywheel. And those first like 3 months when you start working out, it's hard. And that's why so many people fall off at the end of January and the new year, is because those first 30 days is like you don't see a lot of progress. You're sore, you're tired, you're fatigued, you're probably not like really experienced, so you don't feel really confident what you're doing. But if you can get into that positive flywheel where you start to see just a little bit of success, like just a little bit, and then you're like, wow, I did that myself. The effort that I put in created that positive progress. And then you start to fall into this process. And then once you create that positive flywheel, I think you really start to enjoy the process a little more. Obviously, there's ups and downs just like anything. But overall, you have to generally enjoy what you're doing. If you absolutely despise your workouts, you despise living a healthy lifestyle, it's going to be really hard for you. So keep trying new things. Hire a coach. Obviously, we're a huge proponent of that. That's a huge piece of what we do, is the accountability piece of providing structure in the workouts, but also just like, hey, we got an appointment at 8 a.m. You're going to be here. Otherwise, you know, like that's the structure that we provide. So that is a huge piece. If you can't hire a coach, find people that you maybe want to do workouts with, friends, family, find a community, and it's going to help you be so much more accountable and find fulfillment and enjoyment from your workouts.
There's so many different factors that come into play with weight loss. So if you come in here and you're pointing fingers saying, I want to lose weight, I want to lose it now, I want to get started training, you know, it's so easy to blame something or blame someone. But I think just keeping in mind that it does come down to all of these tips that we've given you guys today, and creating a healthy, balanced diet and creating more movement in your day-to-day. Because you could come in here and hit the gym really hard and then go sit at home and sit on your butt the rest of the day. And I can tell you right now, that's not going to get you results, especially if you're sitting on your butt and you're pounding down chips and dip and whatever it is. You know, you are not going to get results in that aspect. So the workout itself obviously gives us great benefits in overall health. It creates muscle development, and there's so many different benefits to the workout itself. But if it comes to weight loss, you got to keep in mind that there is going to be some challenges, and you may not like every single thing that you do, but trying to find something that does fulfill you and create enjoyment and making you get into a routine, fall into a routine. Like when I first started running, I didn't say, oh my God, I love this. I love dying and being out of breath. It's great. No, I think it's something that, I started enjoying over time because I realized that, wow, my body is capable of doing hard things. It's fun to go out and enjoy the scenery and get outside and get fresh air. Like there's so many things that you can slow down and find fulfillment in, whether it's the weightlifting, oh, this is super cool. I went from, bench pressing 15 pounds to now bench pressing 40-pound dumbbells. Like, strength as a woman, that creates a lot of confidence. So there's so much more to fitness than just the weight loss portion. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is just find fulfillment in your workouts. And with doing that, you're going to see progress and fulfillment. Yeah.
So we hope you guys enjoyed this list of our top 10 fitness tips. If you have any extras, we'd love to hear, maybe you have some fitness tips that you would have included in your top 10, or if you have questions on anything that we talked about today, we'd love to help. We help people every day here in the gym. We help people in online training, and we love to help you too. Just let us know your questions in the comment section, and we'll get back to you. So thanks for listening, guys. We will see you guys in the next episode.